Okay, Casey, you can start it in five, four, three, two, one.
Welcome. Today we are very honored to have a gentleman who is expert in not just the banking industry, but in revolutionizing the industry. So his name is called Robin Speculum, in short, Robin. So he is an expert in strategy implementation who transforms strategy execution globally by inspiring leaders to adopt a different approach. He is the CEO of Bridges Business Consultancy, and he has published 5 very successful books with a track record of over 30,000 copies. Not only that, he is featured on BBC, Channel News Asia, and CNBC. Right, you may see right in front of him is the bestseller book now in at least Singapore, also Amazon.com, which is called the World's Best Bank, a Strategic Guide to Digital Transformation 2021. And again, this has been appraised by BBC World and the Forbes magazine. So Robin is not just a famous consultant, but he actually contributes a lot to the academic world. So he is also an educator for Duke Continuing Education, IMD, and also a joint member of Singapore Management University and NUS. Of course, I can continue and then put all of you to sleep. But let me just now ask Robin, what is his main reason to rejuvenate his consultancy work and to work together with us for the Indonesian market? So please, Robin.
Well, first of all, thank you for that lovely introduction. And Casey, from now on, you're doing all my PR and marketing. It's a delight to join you for this. And you know, I've been next door in Singapore now for 30 years and been working in Indonesia since the 90s. And previously, I was regional VP of Citigroup Asia Pacific on the corporate side, covering Indonesia as well. And we're seeing across the whole of Indonesia, and I've already been working with some of the banks, they recognize that the drive for the change, which is what's so exciting, it's not the technology, it's not what we can do with machine learning and AML or how we're applying AI in operations. That's not what getting the banks excited from the ones we're talking to. What's getting them excited is the new value that they can create for the customers across the whole of Indonesia. Because now, as we go from having a physical presence, which in a country the size it is, to now having the mobile app and working through mobile, it creates so much new opportunities. And what's wonderful to see is many of the banks that we're talking to recognize that the opportunities to create new customer value through ecosystems, through new platforms, from shifting from selling products and services to platform offers. And that, Casey, is what I'm finding exciting about the opportunity and the market in Indonesia.
Thank you. So, Professor Echo, please, if you have any questions for
Robin, nice to have you here. Yeah, I really love your book. You know, I read it, and then I use it in my university to tell the story to my students. Yeah, because in regards to the digital transformation in banks, yeah, your books really give a great examples. And those examples are based on the great philosophy, like you just told me. Yeah, can you tell the audience actually why you write this? My opinion, these wonderful books. What is your reason you read this book?
Well, first of all, thank you for the very kind feedback.
Yeah.
The book, which is just a few months old,
yeah,
I was very fortunate that the CEO of the world's best bank for the last 4 years, DBS, has been a colleague and a friend for now 25 years. Piyush Gupta, the CEO, and I worked together in Citibank. And for
Oh,
the last 10 years, I've been in and out consulting with the bank. And in 2018, Piyush and I were discussing a particular issue he had. And out of that discussion came the thoughts of writing the book.
Yeah.
And our goal was to help other banking, and not just banking, but leaders in other industries understand the challenge. Now, what do I mean by that? Here's the big challenge. 2/3 of digital transformations across various industries are still failing.
yep.
Despite all the excitement and the hype across the need to go digital through the pandemic, and we can't reach customers, everyone recognizes it, but knowing what to do and making it happen are two different things.
Yeah.
So our goal with the book from Piyush, from DBS, and myself was to provide a playbook, a guide for leaders. So yes, it's the story of DBS digital transformation, but it also works for any leader looking to succeed and learn the hard-won insights and best practices that made DBS the world's best bank for the last 4 years in a row.
Yeah. From Professor Casey, I learned why so many projects fail. From you, I learned why so many digital transformation fails in bank sector. Thank you so much for that knowledge, and like you said, most of the issues or of the example that you are giving in this book also happening in Indonesian banks. And now we have the playbook. Do you mind if I translate it into Indonesia?
It would be my pleasure, because I'd be delighted. The book is there to support and guide leaders. And when you translate it, it means they'll be able to pick it up even easier. So thank you for offering to do that.
Thank you, Robin. Back to you, Casey.
Very good. So I must confess that not only Robin is my coach, my mentor, but he was also the one who taught me about the paradigm shift in Industry 5.0, because he always says that actions speak louder than words. And therefore, that's the lesson I learned from Robin, that the reason why so many projects fail is because people doesn't want to change the way they think. The boss changed very fast because the boss knows the problem. But the people say, I wait and see. So what the boss will do next, but it's too late. So therefore, one of the lessons I learned from Robin is really to start with the leadership, which must change the way people think. And it's not easy. There's a process and tools, which Robin has it as well. Then once they change the way they think, they will now become process ownership on the way they work. So once this tool is done, then you want them to behave positively. That means, yes, I am resistant to change. It's very difficult. The technology may make me lose my job, but for the sake of the company, I can move to another higher level job, higher business value added job, which Robin has just mentioned earlier on, and eventually to perform. So I think maybe Robin would like to say a few words about this paradigm shift.
With pleasure, Casey, but let me address one of the issues very quickly. You're absolutely right. Whether I'm speaking virtually or in person, one of the most common questions on digital transformation is, am I going to lose my job? Now, interestingly, DBS, when they started their digital transformation, had 18,000 employees. Today, they have over 30,000. What happened was, as they became more and more successful, they grew in terms of the business and the volumes. So they had trained, they reskilled their employees, and nobody lost their job unless they refused to transform themselves. So the opportunity is there for everyone. And the other key point, Casey, you were so spot on, because you and I have spoken about this. Under one of I run 3 different companies, as you know, and my other one, the Digital Leadership Specialist, we researched why digital transformation is still failing 2/3 of the time. And as you highlighted, one of the top 3 reasons is the leadership mindset. They have to let go of their legacy leadership. It's what I call vertical leadership. Now, what does that mean? In organizations where you still have to go upward to get sign off, to get budgets, to get permission, you're chasing leaders around, you're going to fail. Because in digital transformation, you craft from the top the direction and the purpose, but there's a plethora of activities that happen from the ground up. What do I mean? Things like hackathons, design thinking, customer journey mapping, pain point analysis, data analytics. And the employees are driving these initiatives. And if they then have to go into committees, preparing PowerPoints, asking for permission, it fails. So we have to move to horizontal leadership where people are working in an agile environment and empowered. And for that to happen, our leaders need to let go of their legacy thinking and be open to new ways. And I'll give you one very practical measurement that I use. Are you the first or the last to speak in your meetings? Traditionally, leaders are the first, and they set the agenda and they tell you what's going to happen. In a digitally driven organization, leaders recognize that they have to be the last to speak, so they have to listen to what's happening in their organization. And Piers, the CEO of DBS, he said to me, I used to go to meetings to tell people what to do. Now I go to meetings to find out what's going on in my bank. And that just really, reinforces the shift that's happening in leadership. So Casey, fully agree with you. It's a massive challenge and one that we look forward to addressing across the different companies in Indonesia.
Robin, where is the position of the emerging technology that you have just said? The big data, the machine learning, the robotics, those all terminologies that drive the many sectors in
great question. Because I think one of the differences that's happened, now I've been involved in digital transformation since 2014, not only working with the world's best bank, but also the world's largest luxury company, who are both adopting digital. And in those days, we tend to have equated digital transformation with the technology, but very rapidly, we recognized, of course, it's not. And digital transformation can be broken up when we define it, because many people use the words and they've become very ambiguous and confusing. So I explain it this way. Digital is identifying the emerging technologies that are most relevant to your customers. So for example, in banking, AI and blockchain over the next 5 years are going to be the most relevant and critical for any bank. The transformation is the inside the organization, internally, what needs to happen. So this is why it's so tough. Not only do you need to transform, you need to identify and adopt the right technologies. And what's good news is as we move to cloud, both private and public, we're able to accelerate that platform, that re-architecture of the banking systems, which many of us know was extremely painful in the past. But now we can do it in months, not years, without disrupting our customers, as we can pilot and test and run it through. So our cadence has got quicker, our time to market's got faster. And just to add on, to give it some practical examples, for example, machine learning is, we would typically, normally we have like over 95% false positives in AML. Today, using machine learning, we've eliminated that. And that's just one small example. We're using it now, for example, in analyzing our client, in how we're using it for the RMs, in using AI. There's so many opportunities that are so exciting. But to answer the question, the challenge is, which of the technologies are most relevant, not to you, but to your customer to create greater value?
Casey, allow me to ask $1 million question to Robin.
Sure.
Robin, your book's title is World Best Bank. Based on your knowledge of Indonesian banks, do you think Indonesian bank can become the world best bank?
Oh, you're setting me up there, Robbie. So yes, because if DBS out of Singapore, because 20 years ago, none of us would have thought an Asian bank or Southeast Asia, maybe it's one or two of the Chinese in terms of volume, but none of us would have thought that this would have been possible. So I think DBS have shown us that it is, and they did it in just 4 years. From 2014 was when they started their journey, and 2018, they first got recognized. And what's fascinating is they didn't just digitalize the bank, they revolutionized the industry. And now every bank around the world, not just Indonesia, has to transform, because if they don't, their customers will look elsewhere. Because now there's so, as we move into platforms and building ecosystems, creating more value for our customers, whether it's on the consumer, the corporate, or the wealth management side, it doesn't matter. We're looking at greater value. So yeah, if a small bank in Singapore, in our little red dot can do it, then the opportunity for the banks in Indonesia are absolutely there, 100%, because what digital transformation did was it created us a new start line. And we've all started again from the same point. So it's a wonderful opportunity for one of the Indonesian banks to take the title from DBS.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Robin.
you.
Back to
So,
you, Casey.
Right. Timing is everything. So let's just put our minds together and let's be of immense value to the Indonesian market. Do you think so?
Absolutely.
Professor Eko and Robin.
With so many opportunities there, would be a pleasure to support the leaders.
Right.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Casey just said that you are Casey mentor, and Casey is my mentor. So to me, you are my super mentor then.
No, Casey's just being too complimentary.
So we will see you in Indonesia, Robin, because I am planning to introduce my guru, Professor Casey, my super mentor, you, Robin, to Indonesian market, because we have the same thought, we have the same idea, we have the same spirit, yeah, on how to conduct the transformation. And I'm planning to do it on August. I hope you don't mind to be invited, of course, through virtually, because we are still on the
let's be optimistic, maybe even in person by then.
Oh yeah, no, if that regards, I will be more than happy. Yeah. So Robin, please put on your agenda. August is Indonesian Independence Day. I think that's a great time to bring the new spirit to the audience, to the Indonesian market, that, like Robin said, Indonesian banks can become the world best
bank too.
Thank you so much, Robin.
Thank you.
Thank you to both of you for the opportunity.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye. 5, 4, 3,